Right, it's another beautiful day here at the newspaper stand. Of course, we've come to the end of the year, December. We're in December, and today happens to be December 8th, and we're going to be giving some newspaper reviews of some of the newspaper headlines that we have here today. Okay, let's start with the Punch paper right here. If you look at the window page here, it says Sanusi's carpet and an NNPCL dows dollars remittance after subsidy removal. SME entitled to his opinion. That's what the NNPCL is saying out there. I remain focused, says spokesperson. Of course, Sanusi here is saying that there should be an account. NNPC, as I saw in one of the newspaper, that NNPCL should be able to give account for the dollar influx that we have in the nation. But here the spokesman is saying a different thing, that the organization is focused on revamping the state that we find ourselves in, Nigeria. And also we are seeing here some foreign airlines may quit Nigeria. AITA warns federal government. You can see the face of Festus Keyamo out there. Then coming to the major page, they say FG vows to punish corporates. AFC demands GOC removal. That's concerned the bombing that we saw out there in Kaduna State. And then the federal government is saying that the culprits to that action are going to be punished. But we're seeing the federal government promises to unravel causes of bombing, rebuild affected community. Defense headquarters, please also as regards to that. Then cop accidental bombing with AI U.S. Army center tells military. Then ACF demands probe. Then we're seeing Tinubu, Nupeng, others mourn as Kokori dies at 80. I won't surrender my mandate to intimidation. That's the governor of Rivers State, Fubara. You can come look at the papers. That's what Fubara is saying out there. Okay, then down here we see court dismisses Niger junta sued against Tinubu. That's what ECOWAS. And ECOWAS, on page 14 of the paper, government adopt 10 Nasarawa varsity students. Then NPA blames concession for $853 million, 1.8 billion revenue shortfall. You can find that on page 13 of the paper. Quickly, let's look at Daily Trust. On the window page, it said excitement as $20 billion Dangote Refinery receive crude oil. Of course, so much excitement, but we want to see it realistically coming to the foreplay. But it does seem like a good omen for Nigeria, even now that we're having the issues of fuel scarcity and, of course, the subsidy removal that have hit Nigeria so hard. But let's see how that pans out. Okay, then government kidnapped Nasarawa student. We saw that in the Punch paper. Civil defense yet to produce media trust. Radio tower, shield indicted operatives, page 3 of the paper. Kaduna killings, not a mistake, says Gumen. Of course, the cleric is speaking out there. But I've often wondered why this mistake. Last time we had a mistake in one of the communities in Kaduna State where lives were, I think Air Force said they had a mistake and a bomb was thrown out there, and you saw how lives of people, a lot of people were killed there. And this is another mistake. Again, the army is giving that out. But Gumen is saying it is not a mistake. It's an army attack against Air Force advice. That's what source is saying. Then officers grumble over lack of synergy between services. Lack of synergy, because there needs to be a communication between the air and the land. So I wonder why this whole thing is happening. And we saw the death toll there, about 81 people dead and about 71 injured, as one of the paper carried. Okay, then we've lost, we've learned our lessons. Our operations remain joint. That's what Defense Headquarters is saying. What is the outcome of that lesson is what I am asking today, because we saw it in some years back, and today, this time around we're seeing another, and about 81 people dying, 71 injured, as one of the paper carried. Tinubu vows to punish anyone found culpable. That punishment is necessary. And then we are seeing the Vice President Vice President Kasim Shettima visit the victim of Kaduna airstrike at Barrow Diko Teaching Hospital yesterday, and left also the governor of the state, Obersani. You can see their faces out here commiserating with some of these people here. Quickly, then here also more than 80% of Gaza's population displaced. Then also kick against inclusion of Teflon in annual budget. Then we see Shiroro hydroelectric power dam under threat by bandits. That's what the general manager is saying out there. Okay, quickly, let's look at Daily Sun. War over VP's 15 billion residents. Okay, Wike mocks Obi, dares protesters. Then LP insists project wasteful and insensitive. That is what the Labour Party, and I believe many Nigerians also will be speaking towards this direction at a time like this, where hunger bites hard in the land, where we have the case of fuel subsidy, we have inflation rate rocking the nation, and then you are taking a whooping sum of 15 billion naira to build a residence of the vice president. But many will ask, even though the federal government have come to give a claimant to that, saying that this project started about 2010 or thereabout, and what was allocated for the project was about 7 billion. All right, 7 billion, but due to inflation and the cost of things in the market, that's what has changed the cost to about 15 billion. But yet, Nigerians, of course, some Nigerians are not happy with it, and you saw the one of the opposition party, Labour Party, kicking against it, saying that it is a waste of material and very, very much insensitive. Walking down the street, you can discover that Nigerians are not happy. Actually, hunger bites hard the people. So I don't know what the government will have to do. But here is Wike mocks Peter Obi and dares protesters. Of course, maybe people who want to protest against this building here. Wike is daring them. I don't know if he's going to shoot people on the street or what he's going to do if Nigerians come out to protest, because peaceful protest is part of the fundamental rights of human. All right, let's look at operatives injured as NDLEA drug cartel clash in Edo Forest. Then Tinubu and governors, labor unions, other mourn as Kokori dies at 80th birthday. 950,000 barrels of oil cargo bed at Dangote Refinery. We saw in the early papers we saw 1 million, and here Daily Sun is carrying about 950 barrels. That seems to be a good omen for Nigeria. But let's see how the action pans out. All right, the federal government pounds on OPay, PAMPay, others as NIBSSS stops non-deposit banks from fund transfer channels. That tends to give us a bit of caution there. It says PSP SA is not permitted to hold customers' funds. So for those of us using OPay and PAMPay, I think there needs to be some sort of caution in keeping your money there. Maybe it should be for some sort of daily transaction and all of that. But I don't know what the government must have seen to have given this caveat out there. Quickly, let's look at the Vanguard paper. We will be 100% sure before bombing target. That's what Defense Headquarters is saying out there. It says 81 killed, 17 injured in mishap. It says is unpatriotic to ethnicized disaster. That's what Defense Headquarters is saying here, that it is unpatriotic for you to put this as ethnic, some sort of ethnic cleansing, as some quarter might put it out there. Then equip military with more accurate surveillance technology. I mean, something baffles me about Nigeria. It just seems like it is whenever we have some sort of mishap or happening in the nation, that is when a lot of technicality will be deployed to cope further. But we don't. Sometimes we tend to be very proactive. We tend to be very reactive rather than being proactive to action. That is what I can find the action of Defense Headquarters doing here. All right, we've seen that, and PDP distance self from major talks. Yeah, I saw a headline. I was wondering where they say NNPC and PDP and other 5 parties tend to merge. But here is PDP saying that they don't have anything to do with that merger out there. Then NCCL, NECA laments exit of P&G and others. Companies exiting from Nigeria. All right, quickly, let's look at FG. Federal government votes 548.506 billion for federal roads nationwide. Unease calm in police over new posting. Okay, let's quickly come to this morning. This day is saying that, okay, on the window page here, it's saying finally Dangote Refinery set for production gets forced 1 million barrels crude oil feedstock. We saw that in the early papers there. Then over here it's saying showing compassion, Shetima leads delegation to visit Kaduna bomb victims, promises rebuilding. We saw that in one of the papers earlier, where we saw the governor and the vice president and the governor of the state paying a visit to some of the victims that were injured out there. Okay, then Tinubu, every commitment to clear FX backlog will be fulfilled. That is what Tinubu is saying out there. Sanusi says president shouldn't be petroleum minister, insists NNPC must account for dollar inflows, then opposes removal of AMCON levy, declares banking sector regulation a necessity. Chike Obi era of regulations without consultation should end. And then Cardoso here is saying regulation key to sound financial system, reduction of operational excesses. That's what Cardoso is replying to that talk by the former central bank of governor of central bank. Then also we're seeing from Friday here is saying officers found guilty will be punished. We've seen that in the paper, and we can see some of the faces of the victim here. Then Wike here is saying we will take hard decisions to transform Abuja. That is what Wike is saying. We want to see more of action rather than the talks. Let's give it 2 or 3 headline newspaper, and then we go. Then on Tribune here we're seeing Kaduna drone strike. The guilty will be punished. That's what Tinubu vows to do out there. Says okay, that's what he vows to do. We're also seeing Dangote Refinery. We've seen that earlier. Then prison spend 750 to feed inmates. 750 to feed inmates. I don't know if it's a million here. 800 to feed dogs daily, Senate told. Wow. Controller General proposes 3,000 daily for inmates. That's what the Controller General is proposing for feeding of inmates. Okay, that is feeding inmates 750 naira a human. I mean, a plate of food now is like in most places about 500, and then for an inmate and the inmate out there, they are spending like 750 naira every single day. So I don't know how you divide that money. Probably 3 square meal per day. Maybe you are giving them some sort of 150 or 200 naira, and then maybe 50 naira goes for water. What can 200 naira buy? Even though they are inmate, they are human also. Then 3,000 naira to feed 800 to feed dogs daily. It's crazy. It's crazy. Human life matters. All right, this is Nigeria. Tinubu of the probe of Kaduna drone attack as dead toll. He's 85. We saw that in some of the papers, even though the figures here tend to have a bit of discrepancy. Then let's look at the Nation's paper while we wrap up this today. Maybe with the point, it said the Nation here is saying tributes Gallo for Frank Kokori, 1944 to 2003, as a clock, 80 years. Then oil theft. Dan Tita Security Force arrests another suspicious vessel. Tinubu vows to punish for error of bumping corporates. All right, let's look at the point, and then we'll wrap up this today. Okay, the point is saying credible election, INEC not Nigerians' problem. That's what the commission is saying. Says our activities, let me take out this. INEC is saying here our activities are in line with electoral law, then electronic voting a mode of appointment for NAS to decide. Then stop playing into hands of desperate politicians. Political parties tell umpire. Real reasons electoral malpractice, vote buying persists. That's what analysts say. Maybe reacting to the statement of Professor Mahmood out here. But that's all we're going to take for today. Let's see how, government take note that Nigerians should be working. That is what the average Nigerians want to see in the street out there. Truly, there is hunger in the land. A lot of Nigerians are not happy. We hope to see that government fulfill all of its promises. I am Austin B. Sinum, and this is 7 Vendor, the newspaper review this morning.